Thank you everyone for joining us. This session for this week is going to be what's next after graduation in the age of COVID-19. I know there was a lot of students that joined this session, so I see that there's a lot of interest from all of you to kind of hear what this topic that we're going to be presenting today. And we're going to have Oscar Fonseca from Cal State San Bernardino Palm Desert campus join us today. I know a lot of you might know Oscar already, and we'll introduce him shortly. But before we go into that, we just wanted to remind you all that we are here, One Future Coachella Valley. We are here to support you all. We hope to be able to support you not just through your college journey, but also as you graduate and you take part of the workforce. At this point, I would like to...
I start with this graph, the majority of the presentations that I present to my students. And as you can see in the middle, it says career, but around it, you see a lot of pins and points of what students need to do in order to be successful. And I think it was extremely smart and timely that Fatima posed the question of how many of you feel prepared. And it doesn't shock me where students are reporting that they're not prepared. And that is because there is this culture of kind of figuring out career services at the latter part of your career, right? So that is always something that I'll take care of it later, I'll take care of it later, I'll take care of it later. And then you don't foresee that 4 years are gonna go fast and in a hurry. And then those 4 years come and then you graduate and you get frustrated with the university, you get frustrated with yourself because you feel that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So as you can see here, your career encompassing not just one thing. The majority of students that I see, and one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear with students is that students truly feel that by being academically successful, that is going to automatically open the doors to career services or a career job or a job or the salary that you want. And I'm here to tell you that by being a top-heavy student, that's where I'm calling those kinds of students, top-heavy students. What does that mean? A student that has a degree completed, but does not have the additional skills and internships and job placement and exposure and research and goals in order to combine for job opportunities. It's going to be very, very, very hard to find that dream job or to find that entry-level job. So I'm here to tell you, and believe me, I've heard it through the grapevine that, you know, Oscar is saying that GPA is not important. I'm not here to tell you that GPA is not important, because it is. But what I'm trying to do is try to change your mindset that your GPA and your academic success combined with opportunities in the actual workplace during your university years are gonna foresee the opportunities that you will get once you graduate. And so those are things that the university doesn't have control. I, as an advisor, or a career coach, or a counselor, can impose on you. Those are things that you as a student are gonna need to understand either within the process of you being a university student or within the difficult process afterwards, after you graduate, to really pretty much start from zero. And so I'm not one to judge anybody, because I know that there's students that while they're at the university, because of preconceived situations or family situations, are not able to take things over and above, or may not even want to do that. But then you need to understand that after you graduate, there's going to be a level of entry level that you're going to start from the bottom. And so just being mindful of that is extremely important for me to let you know. So with that being said, the agenda for today is everything that portrays around COVID, how COVID has changed things. And I'm here to tell you that the old normal is gone, and now everything is going to be a new normal with the situation that we're in. And so the times of prior to March 2019, 2020 are gone, and now after March, everything's up and afloat. So one of the sectors that I'm really trying to promote is sectors that are going to be growing based on research. What are those sectors going to look like, right? So some of those sectors obviously are way off the bat, common sense things, but other sectors are obviously going to grow because of the changes in the way people are living and the changes in the business development approach. So a lot of times it is good to see this, that technology and cybersecurity, obviously now that is bigger more than ever, obviously with current situations that are happening across our country. Finance is going to be big, how things are going to change with that. Healthcare is obviously going to continue with obviously the downfalls that we have. E-commerce, as you know, it's growing. Amazon is now becoming the biggest company in the world, and it's going to continue to grow. Logistics and supply chain management, obviously with all the packages that I know all of you are probably getting in your homes, there's a lot of work in that. Online education, actually people like Fatima and myself who facilitate workshops are actually being hired by major companies because it takes a certain type of personality, a certain type of approach to present to people. Risk analysis is something really big now too, something that could be ethically supposed to happen, but because of the situation that we're in, it can't happen. So where is the risk? Everybody's always thinking about risk and how that needs to be managed. Advertising, communications, all aspects of team leading, media and entertainment, smart cities. There's a couple of cities in Europe right now that are doing more of a community living. The structure of how we're going to be living in the future is bound to change. Obviously, the virtual office and the virtual office management and how now we need to start working independently, the workplace. And one thing that actually shocked me is waste management and how this situation is also gonna implode a lot of new sectors with obviously being smarter with our management and the waste. When it comes to personal skills, during COVID-19, the big thing right now is adaptability, being adaptable. Why is that? Because I'm here to tell you that even though I have the title of career counselor, I am actually still learning and learn every day how to best advise my students. And so that is something that a lot of people don't take lightly for me, because sometimes you feel that if you're in this field, you're supposed to know everything. Sometimes we don't, but we are here to work together to find an answer. So being adaptable, having that resiliency, being a problem solver, thinking literally, not no more figuratively, literally outside the box is going to be extremely important. One thing that I'm still working on, as some of my colleagues are listening to me, I'm not one that works very well independently. It's been a huge learning curve for myself. So this is something that is going to be extremely important. One thing that's always going to open doors is being a good communicator, learning how to write and speak and be visually approachable. It's important to understand that. Be self-directed, and at the end of the day, have being empathetic about the process. So learn that those are the kinds of things that are extremely important to look for that. Now, I go back and I talk to you about internship possibilities. As my first recommendation to you, if you have not connected to your career office at your institution, I strongly recommend you to do that, to send an email, to do your research, and to send an email before the end of the day, or to set up an appointment before the end of today with someone at your career services, just to have a general conversation about what they offer. One of the things that challenges me the most is that students don't understand that career services is something that you guys pay for. You're paying it off of your tuition, so you are entitled to receive career services. Now, within career services, there's a lot of things that we can and cannot do, or we can and cannot guarantee. So please understand that these are things that are going to be important for you to do. So that's my first recommendation, and I'll continue making recommendations throughout the presentation. So one thing too is virtual internships is going to be the new normal. So I'm actually working with students right now at a Cal State San Bernardino doing this. So they're actually working again independently from their home while their internship location or their preceptors are giving them actual actions. Also is on-the-job cross-cultural experience. Because of the situations that we're going through at the moment and being empathetical with each other's background, everything is in the table and everything is up for discussion. And then the other thing too that a lot of students are not thinking about is that because of the situation that we're in at the moment, this has become a true global opportunity. So if you were ever thinking of working for a particular company, big name, small name, middle name, or even within the country or outside of the country, abroad, now is the opportunity for you to look at those options. And right now it's looking better and better. More and more companies are looking for workers who are interested in doing work remotely, and they're willing to pay you opportunities to study, opportunities to have a learning curve, and at the same time, opportunities to grow within that industry. When it comes to job search, make yourself professionally visible. What does that mean? That means, first and foremost, and many of the students that I see here that are renewals probably have heard from me say this over and over again, clean your social media platforms. My recommendation to you, and I know it's extremely, and I scratch my head because people know that right before I scratch my head because I'm going to say something dangerous. Please, right before you graduate, my recommendation to all the students that I talk to is that you delete your social media. Now, does it mean that you can start a new one? You can start a new one. But I recommend all students to delete anything that you might have posted that you don't know. As you are already aware, there's been celebrities, there's been individuals, there's been people that have lost their jobs because of something that they posted 10 years ago or whatever, and you probably don't even remember, and you get in trouble because of that. So I know what I'm recommending to you is extremely drastic, but that is my recommendation to you, that either right after you know that you've probably been posting things you shouldn't have, or maybe you're no longer have that perspective, my recommendation is that you delete it, because I will tell you the first thing that an employer is going to do is Google your name. So if you haven't Googled your name, do it and find out what is out there, and be mindful of that. With that being said, all of you should, and I know that as scholars, you are required to develop a LinkedIn profile. You should all have a LinkedIn profile that is manageable and it's complete. Also, when it comes to jobs, Google has Google alerts when it comes to job opportunities that you're looking for. There is a platform called, this is my second recommendation, there's a second platform called Going Global. A lot of the information that I'm presenting here is from Going Global. Going Global is just like Handshake or grad interns softwares that the majority of the universities do apply for. So I would not guarantee, but I would make a strong statement that many of your institutions have access to the Going Global platforms. The other thing too is to be eligible, identify your transferable skills. So at the moment, employers are looking for individuals who are going to do the job descriptions, but they're also interested what else you bring to the table. So if any of you have management of how to work Canva, or how to do marketing, or do Photoshop, or know how to do videos, or have background in actual development and promotion of social media, employers at the moment are at now looking for people that bring those types of skills, because they do know that in the time that we're in, that's a skill that is very important. Again, also is that companies are looking for all types of talent. So at the moment, getting your degree in any aspect is approachable and accepted. But what is also going to get you hired is what you're doing additionally. So how are you connecting to the community? What other things are you learning? Are you taking extra courses? And then at the end of the day, too, it goes back to network. How do you network collectively? One thing that I've seen over and over again is how much students are able to connect with individuals via LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn profile that is complete, it's concise, and you are promoting that you are looking for employment, you are able to connect with individuals, and also you are able to promote that you are looking for opportunities. So please take the time to do those particular steps. How do you search and how do you prepare yourself for virtual job interviews? This is another thing that is extremely important that people do not do, is you got to do your research. Each company always has a tab about us. They're always interested in showing numbers. I just went and literally today, and I guess at the moment, shame on me, that I just saw that One Future Coachella Valley has a brand new landing page in their website, or brand new website, I should say, which looks amazing. And again, numbers are always there. So if you are applying for a job at One Future, or you're interviewed somewhere and you tell them the numbers and the backgrounds that people are going through, or the experience why One Future exists, that also makes you more marketable. Dress as you're interviewing in person. Do not underdress, right? Also, I've heard through the university that they've actually asked people to get up to make sure that they're dressed. So know that now a lot of committees and a lot of interviewers are putting candidates to not be too relaxed during these times. Also is have some relevant materials at your fingertips. Again, information that comes through, how to prepare for that position, and be prepared for those questions when it comes to that particular job description. And at the end of the day too, is be ready with the technology. Now with all these Beats or AirPods or whatever mechanism you're using, be mindful of your background. What are you projecting? How are you projecting yourself, so that they understand that you're trying to be as clear and concise to the process. So then moving on to, again, how to prepare for virtual jobs, minimize disruptions, so right now, if it's possible, obviously now I'm a dad, kid cries, this and that. So try to have, whenever you are interviewing, a place where you know that you're going to be, non-interrupted for an hour. Things do happen, but at the same time, be mindful of that. Be mindful of your body language and how you connect, you smile, maintaining eye contact, speak clearly, consistent, and talk to people in a direct way. And again, to Luisa's point, always send a thank you note, whatever that might be, an actual physical note, sending it to the employer, or an email. Sometimes I'm a little eerie, because sometimes you might not get the emails of the people who are interviewing you, so a letter will be better. But I'm pretty sure, and it's been my experience, that you can email HR, and then HR will forward your message to the people interviewing you. So that's something to take on. And again, there's a lot of benefits to that, but one of the benefits, as I am repeating myself, that benefit is that a job was offered. For whatever reason, that person did not accept or didn't qualify for the job, then they'll go back to the drawing board and say, okay, this person, you know, send a thank you letter. Let's look back at his application or her application in that way. And the next phase right here, I write working from home, but this is the same thing now, studying from home. You know, you have to maintain a structured workplace, maintain your day. Again, setting goals. I'm really big on goal setting. Ernie knows this, and I believe Christina knows this, but I am using the personal mission statement platform or blueprint that was developed by us as a team while I was part of One Future with my students at PDC. I'm big on goal settings and kind of visualizing where you want to be, where you want to go, and how you want to do things, and maintain that as part of your weekly processes. Obviously, establish work boundaries, connect with team members, you know, and connect with, you know, other people and other surroundings. And again, one thing that a lot of us don't do is just get up, walk around, exercise, because Zoom fatigue is a real thing, and it's pretty powerful. So something to take into consideration. And then one of the things that last but not least that I wanted to express is skills in the workplace, and how people need to be mindful. In the next phases is for you as students to be complex problem solving, having critical thinking, being creative is going to be extremely important. People management, coordinating with others, being emotional intelligence, because some of us, I know that I will be the first one to admit that people know when I'm disappointed or people know when I'm happy. I do wear my emotions in my sleeves. And it's very amazing how emotions tend to be more magnified in front of a Zoom camera for whatever reason. It happens. So again, being mindful of that, judgment, to be service oriented, to negotiate what you're able and not able to do. Right now, the other thing too that is happening is that sometimes administrators or your higher ups or even your boss cannot relate that they're putting too many things on your plate, and to try to find a balance with that. And then having cognitive flexibility of what you're willing to do, and there's something that you can't finish it, you know, because of the things that are currently happening. So being very mindful in how to protect your mental health in this process. So with that being said, here's my email. As I tell my students, my email is open 24/7, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to respond to you 24/7. But now with the boys, I do respond sometimes like at 3 o'clock, which don't tell my wife because she'll be mad at me. But that does happen often. I'm here to help any student that is open. I know that not every student is in San Bernardino, but if there's a student that is having a hard time connecting to the career services, or doesn't know how to draft an email, or is afraid, I know that Fatima and Christina are always more than happy to help students. But if I can be that additional perspective or point of view, I'm putting my name out there. Don't email me all at once, okay? Because that'll be crazy. But I'm just joking. Just go ahead and let me know. But with that being said, you know, it's fast and easy. I'm more, like I told Fatima in the beginning of this presentation, I'm more interested in answering some of the direct questions that students have. I know this is very subjective and very like situational, but I do know that each and every one of you has a story that has value, a story that's a blessing to all of us. And all of you have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. So I want to give validation to that. Sometimes I feel that as a career counselor, I'm more as a friend and a confidant before we go into career services, because I do truly feel that in order for me to be an effective communicator and effective connector to industry, students need to understand what they want to do, right? And what values they're looking for in their processes. And so I feel that this is extremely important. I'm happy to see Sheila and Kim in the call, because some of these things that I'm talking about are things that I actually want to speak to Sheila about in my 1.5 years of experience, that a lot of US students are scared, are legitimately scared of what are you going to do, right? Are legitimately, frightened about this. And how can we, as a community, be an asset to you and learn with you these processes? And so for me, that's the biggest thing. And the hardest thing for administrators, and Sheila, I don't mean to put you in that box, or Kim, it's very hard because some of these things are not easily measured, right? And as we all know, money and funding comes from things that are measurable. Something that is emotional, something that is more of a connection, it's really hard to measure. And it's very long-term, right? But I know that I made an impact in Jose Chicas. I know that I made an impact in Fatima. I know that I made an impact in Loisa. I know that I made an impact in Luis, and I see some familiar names here. How do you measure that? So it's completely a pressure. So I'll be quiet and I'll listen to questions.
Share our contact information so that you can take a screenshot. I know Oscar shared his a little bit earlier. So that if you have any questions, you feel free to reach out to us. And I know Lisa also shared her email on the chat. And I also wanted to just say thank you, Oscar, for making yourself available and sharing your time with us, with our students. It was really a very, very informative session. I know a lot of us got really good tips and just ideas on what to start working on as we approach that employment opportunity or internship interview or anything that we might use this skill for. So thank you so much. And for all of you students, thank you for joining us again. We will be staying a few minutes afterwards. So just wanted to kind of wrap it up. And then if you have any questions, please send them to us through the chat or feel free to let us know right now. And if not, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Thank you.